Hey, Merry Christmas. We're so excited to be here with you. We had a little few snafus as we were getting in. So let's see who's joining us today. Can we see who's joining us, Jonathan?
Don't know.
Can we see who's joining us, Jonathan?
No.
Up here? Can you see it up there? Up here? Go ahead and type us something in the chat if you see us that you can join in. Up here? Go ahead and type us something in the chat if you see us. So I was just thinking of, I think the gentleman's name is Reid Hoffman. He was the founder of LinkedIn, and he has a quote that I use with our team quite a bit, and it goes something like this. If you're not embarrassed by your first draft, you waited too long to publish. And that's how I feel about us going live for the 12 days of Christmas, because we really don't know what we're doing. And I kept saying to the team, I want to go live. Let's just make it happen. And we'll learn as we go, because that's how we learn best, is by trying it out, practicing it. So here we are for the 12 days of Christmas. It is Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas to you and your family of origin or your family of choice, whoever you're spending your day with. And it could be your fur babies that you're spending your day with. But we just wanted you to know how important you are to us at Sententia. And I love the holiday season and all the traditions that come with it. And of course, one of the traditions is the 12 days of Christmas. So we wanted to spend every day with you just a little bit, just about 30 minutes most each day, just doing a live stream, talking through each of the days of Christmas, and then what their meaning, where it comes from, what the origin is, and then how do we apply that to gamified or game-based learning? What can we extract from the 12 days of Christmas? So we'll be giving some giveaways, some really valuable giveaways. There's always free tools that we'll be sharing with you each day also. So we hope that you'll join us for the live stream. If we don't see us live, we'll share the recording with you. So Jonathan, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas.
So talk with me about the first day of Christmas, Jonathan. It's first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
A partridge in a pear tree.
A partridge in a pear tree. So who would want a partridge?
Nobody.
So why would her true love give her a partridge in a pear tree?
Lots of things he gave.
Yeah. So what's the deal with partridge in a pear tree?
So it's a game mechanic that is called memory and forfeit.
Okay.
So is why the song is so popular, why we still have it today. And it started way back with, before there was Netflix and streaming video, there was this thing called television. And before television, there was a thing called radio. And before radio, people had to make up their own fun. You couldn't just passively entertain. So you could go to a play, you could go to a sermon, or you could get together and people would play games like memory and forfeit games. And that's where I would go as the leader. Let's say I'm the leader. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings. And then your job would be to say
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge. Yeah.
And if you messed up, that's where the forfeit comes in.
Okay.
And then your penalty back then with these types of games is you'd have to give me a kiss. So that's how those games work.
Fortunately, I didn't mess up.
Yeah.
No. All right.
So if you, what's interesting from alliteration standpoint, and this will come back to not only games but also from memory, is above 5. There uses alliteration. So we got maids a milking, lords a leaping, drummers drumming. The first one is partridge and a pear tree. The second one is 2 turtle doves. So at least the turtle's part of that. So those 2 are easy. But then 3 and 4 are specifically not alliterated to make it difficult. So maybe you would mess up by the time we got to 11 or 10 or something.
Yeah. All right, that's good. So, all right, so it's memory and forfeit, and the alliteration is to help us remember. So as we think about the value in learning of memorization, I mean, there are certain things we need to memorize still and be able to do them quickly, like quick math, remembering if we have whatever our particular job is, if we need to remember the process and be able to do it, if that works into our muscle memory, our rote. But if it's not just for a recall or memorization, what other uses could there be?
But before that, it would be good if you're using memorization.
Okay. All right.
So there's lots of studies that show that alliteration helps in our memory.
Okay.
And you remember when you were a kid, you would do these different things. You'd have alliteration type things to remember, like your multiplication tables or something.
Yeah.
Like mine was something 8 plus 8. 8 times 8 fell on the floor. When it came up, it was 64. So floor.
More, yeah. I was thinking about that, even little sayings today, because it's Christmas Day. I spent the morning with my grands, of course, and one of their favorite sayings that Jonathan taught them, if they have to go last, is they'll pop up and say, saving the best for last. And I was thinking that's not alliteration, but it's S and best for last. Yeah.
Best last.
So they know that if they go last, that's how they redeem their last place. Yeah.
So could you, and if you need someone to remember more than 3 things, because our brains or lizard brains can still learn 3 things easily. So this, and that. So 3 we can learn. Our short-term memory, our working memory can deal with about 7. And then, but what if you have a 12 days of Christmas? How are you going to remember? So then a game or some mechanic like memory and forfeit could help your students, your learners remember.
Yeah. So. Very good. I'm wondering about, and we can come back to this when we get to like the French horns or something, but bringing music into it also for the memory, because I know there was something we were doing with your mother and we all had to break into song to remember. And I'll have to think through what that was, but because we can't remember, but I know that all of us broke into song. Okay. So if we're thinking about in our learning programs, how we can help our learners to learn so they can use the information. I know that alliteration is almost like frowned on, though, in like just basic literature, right? Like we're not supposed to.
No, we do it in poetry.
That's really in poetry. Okay. All right. Very
important in poetry.
And in marketing?
Marketing, we use it a lot.
Okay.
It's very persuasive. So there's lots of studies on alliteration and memory, but dealing with college students and literature students specifically, we can remember poems that use alliteration better than we can use free flow of poems. And where the other study really comes into it is, interestingly, in hypnosis. So alliteration is extremely important for putting people in state, maintaining state, and then there's also certain sounds we like. So sounds and ahs and shs and s. So imagine now that we're in a state. So we're calm, we're relaxed in our conversation, and so we're very relaxed. And there comes a point when I want you to remember something or to have a suggestion that you should have. And so what's interesting is I would use a word, perhaps. All right. So come out of state now. And perhaps, so if you're in that state, that calm state, and then all of a sudden I say perhaps, the P, there's 2 P's in perhaps. And the idea, the concept here is now your brain will pay attention to what comes later. So I'd say perhaps now you feel sleepy. Perhaps now you want to remember something. And so so inside of hypnosis, conversational hypnosis, we're very aware of the power of alliteration and specifically certain things. So for instance, if we go back to partridge in a pear tree, so it's partridge, PT, pear tree, PT. So this is the plosives is what they're called, the plosive sounds wake people up versus the other sounds are very melodic. Put us to sleep.
So what I'm thinking is I can imagine that people who are watching this video are thinking that's an awful lot of work to think of those words and how to particularly choose specific words. But at the same time, it reminded me of, there was a Jerry Seinfeld special where he talked about how he worked the words, like even the number of syllables.
Yeah.
Like his latest special that he did after COVID, post-COVID, it's like he worked that to such depth that he practiced, like, was the 2-syllable word funnier than the 3-syllable word? And right. So when we think about delivering excellence, and if you think about the level that Jerry Seinfeld's operating at, that he would take the time to get it down to which is funnier of these words, which is going to get more laughs, then that means for us, we can push ourselves a little bit further to think, well, what are the right words I should use here to help them to remember so they can apply it, so they can do something. When they have to recall it quickly, how could we phrase this so that they can recall it? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, good.
And even there, you were falling right into it, because she was talking about remember, which is a great word, remember, and then also recall. So even there, you're using alliteration. And so it's easier to do in writing, obviously, because then we can start to study and you can analyze and look at it and think through it. It takes a little bit more practice when you're live on YouTube Live.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. And so as we're thinking about alliteration, I wrote a little ebook a few years back, because it's that time of year when we've all got that optimism gene kicking in, that, next year, this is what we're going to do in 2023. This is what we're going to accomplish. This is what we're going to get done. These are my goals. This is my theme. However you do a New Year's kind of resolution or decision of what you're going to make happen in the next year. And I was at that time working like a full contract position for a company, and so I was contracting with them, and it was a lot of time on my part, and I also wanted to be growing Sententia at the same time right before we launched, and I moved over to Sententia full time. So I created this alliteration game, so that every day of the week, no matter how busy I was with that contract work, I would spend at least 1 hour doing work to get Sententia launched for gamification design. So the email that we sent out this morning, and we'll make sure that when this video is live, you can get the link also, but it's the alliteration game. You can download the ebook game and make it for you. So I was working on building a company to launch it. So there was marketing and website development, but it's just every day of the week, there is an alliteration for what you'll do that day. So like, as you think about conquering those things that you don't want to do, because even if we enjoy doing it, sometimes we're just like, we've used up all our self-regulation self-regulation units, and we're done. But if we could just do a little bit more, what would that be? So figure out what works for you, what's important for you to be getting done in 2023, and play the alliteration game and use that to remind yourself, this is Monday. So what am I supposed to be doing with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Saturday and Sunday are fun days too. You don't have to work 7 days a week. You can work in some fun in there. So have some fun with the alliteration game and let me know what you've done. And also, I'm really curious, Jonathan, in how other people are thinking about using for their coursework, course development, especially when it's critical that your learners be able to recall quickly without having to reference, without having to go look it up. I mean, that's one of the benefits of us being able to look things up 24/7 is we don't have to memorize everything, but there are certain things that we've got to be able to recall quickly and know what the right next step is. So I'd be interested to hear how you're using it and how you're thinking about using it in your programs. What else, Jonathan? What else should we be doing today?
Well, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
So have fun.
We should be eating lots of good food. Do your part to contribute to the national weight gain. Don't let us down, everyone, right? We all have to do our part for it to be an average. So make sure that you enjoy today, whatever that looks like for you. You know, maybe it's curled up on the couch with your fur babies watching some old Christmas movies. Maybe it's playing games, going ice skating, going skiing, baking, watching football games, whatever it is that brings you delight. I hope that you get to do that with the people that you enjoy the most today. So from Jonathan and I at Sententia and the rest of the team, we just wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you every day this week over the next 11 days, as we continue to count down the 12 days of Christmas, we'll be bringing you giveaways and freebies, and we'll be live streaming. And tomorrow we'll do it at 12 noon.
Yeah.
12 noon Central Time Monday. We'll be back, and we'll do our on the second day of Christmas, and we'll celebrate that together. So have a great day, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So it went down. Are we done?